Okay, I have returned once more. I got another Yu-Gi-Oh fanfiction for you. I'm just gonna get these Yu-Gi-Oh fanfictions out of the way. Uh, this one is only one chapter long, thank God. So this one won't be as long. It's basically the same thing as the last one. So, sibling incest. Insects. So, let's not waste any time. Let's just get into this. This is the confession. And the summary is 14-year-old Mokuba has become withdrawn and avoidant of his brother. When Seto catches him crying one night, he's determined to find out what is going on. Alright. Seto turned his laptop off, which he couldn't concentrate on for the last hour anyway. There was something bothering the young CEO. Mokuba had acted very strangely that evening. When he had told his little brother that he had had a weekend off for the first time in months, the teen was thrilled. But when he came home, Mokuba was really quiet and asked if he could be excused right after finishing his dinner. Seto stretched and yawned, deciding to catch some rest. He got up and started to ascend the stairs to the second floor. His mind wandered back to his brother. Since the boy turned 14, Mokuba was changing rapidly. Physically, he'd grown a lot. He was now barely a head shorter than his older brother, but mostly in his behavior. From a bouncy, happy, confident kid, he had turned into a serious, withdrawn teenager. Seto missed his smile and the way he would leap at him when he came back after a hard day. His cheerful voice always managed to lighten the CEO's mood. He kept telling himself that it was normal. Mokuba was growing up, and being a Kaiba on top of being a teenager was not easy after all. But a part of him worried about his little brother, the part that always wanted to protect him from the cruel outside world. The world that was out to hurt them given the chance. The world that no one had protected him against. Seto walked into the corridor with the intention to go right to his room, but stopped when he heard a sound from the door on his left. He came closer, wondering whether he had heard it wrong, and then there it was, again. Soft sobs coming from Mokuba's room. There was one thing Seto could not bear, and that was to hear his little brother cry. He grasped the doorknob and pushed the door open soundlessly. What he saw there was heartbreaking. Mokuba was lying on his bed, raven hair a mess and his shoulders shaking with sobs. Those were the kind of tears that could not be taken away by a hug or a bandage, and for a moment Seto felt totally helpless. It reminded him of the time their parents had died. He had been unable to do anything to console his brother then either. In an instant he closed the distance between the door and the bed and sat down. Mokuba, who was suddenly aware of his brother's presence, froze. The older Kaiba laid a hand on his brother's back, making slow, soothing circles. "What's wrong, Moku-chan?" he asked softly. I'm just gonna ignore that. Mokuba wiped away his tears, but didn't look at Seto. "It's nothing. Please don't lie to me. I can see you are very upset, and I want to help you." He tried to turn his brother to face him, but failed. "You can't help me," responded the teen, barely audible. The CEO frowned. "I know I haven't been around much lately, and I'm sorry, but I really tried to care for you the best I can. Please don't tell me we've grown so much apart that you can't trust me anymore. Do you think me as heartless as everyone else seems to?" At that, the raven-haired boy did turn, looking shocked. He looked really bad. His brother noticed, skin pale, bags under his eyes. He looked like he had not slept for weeks. Seto wondered how he could have missed the change. This, whatever it was, must have been going on for some time. "No." Oh, hang on, there's an exclamation point there. "No! It's not your fault. I trust you. It's me. I'm the one who should be sorry, because I'm the one that's been avoiding you. I think I went a little bit too far with that. I think it was just more like a no, not a full-on shout. My apologies." "But why?" The older Kaiba was really confused now. I can't tell you. You'll hate me for it." He ducked his head, blushing. Seto caught his chin between his fingers and turned his head so that he was looking his brother in the eye. I could never hate you, little one. I love you more than life itself, and it's breaking my heart to see you hurt. Then he leaned in and planted a soft kiss on his brother's forehead that did not have the desired effect. Instead of calming down, Mokuba started to cry louder and buried his face in his brother's chest. Seto wrapped his arms around the sobbing boy, pulling him close. The teen started to push against him, trying to get away, but his brother would have none of it. Please, don't touch me. I can't. Then he just gave up. Understandable. It's no use. I'm so tired of faking and denying. It hurts so much. His hands slipped around the CEO's neck, and he looked up into his icy blue eyes full of concern. You want to know what's wrong with me? All right, I'll show you. Saying that, he slammed his lips against his brother's in a burning kiss. Now, before I comment on that, I'm saying that they're starting a new line for these 3 times that Mokuba's had dialogue, and as far as I know, you don't do that. It's new speaker, new line. And Seto Kaiba has not started speaking yet, so there's no need to start a new line here. And it's not like, oh, they have sentences after that, because they go multiple sentences afterwards, and they just keep going. So it's new speaker, new line. You don't need to keep breaking it up like that. You can keep that all in one paragraph. That would basically just save time. At least from what I have been taught in my classes so far, that is how you do it. So this is most likely incorrect, but I'm not very credible on that. And it is kissed his brother on the lips. Okay, this is going a little bit faster than the other one, and we're just going to continue. It was like the young boy poured all his raw emotion into the kiss. It was far from sophisticated, more teeth than finesse, but it definitely got the message across. Seto's eyes widened with shock, but he didn't push him away. The kiss ended just as suddenly as it began. Mokuba was gone from his brother's arms and rolled up into a ball on the other side of the bed, crying. Mokuba, are you disgusted by me, Seto? The CEO sighed, then kicked off his shoes and climbed onto the bed, wrapping his arms around his brother and burying his face into his dark locks. Like I said, I love you. I will never be disgusted by you. I think the right word is surprised. Would you care to tell me what's going on? The boy in his arms relaxed a little, and a shiver ran through his body. I don't even know what I feel anymore. One thing that I do know is that I love you more than anything in the world. When I was little, you were the only important person in my life. You still are. I always thought that as long as we'd be together, everything would be okay. I even thought that one time it was a shame that I was not born a girl, because then you could have married me when we'd been together all our lives. Silly, isn't it? Seto chuckled softly in Mokuba's hair. But things started to get more complicated after I turned 14. I was thinking more about things, about us, and stuff. I started to understand that my love for you was too strong to be normal, and I started to develop other feelings for you. The teen sighed deep before he continued. First, rather innocent things like wanting to hug you longer, maybe kiss you, but those feelings got more intense and I just can't suppress them. Mokuba choked away a sob. Seto rubbed his hand over his brother's back, soothing him. It's okay. You can tell me. What feelings exactly? I started to fantasize about you, being with you, in a sexual way. The older Kaiba slowly turned his brother towards him, but the teen didn't look at him. Listen, I understand how you feel. I had the same feelings when I was your age. Mokuba looked up surprised. Really? Yes, it's normal for a teenager to discover new feelings, but you were very little, and I thought, and still consider it, my duty to protect you, even from myself, so I managed to lock them up inside me and to take some distance from you. Was it when you told me I could no longer sleep in your bed when I had bad dreams? Seto blushed. Yes, I can't believe you still remember, but I know now how it feels to be avoided, and I'm sorry that I've put you through that. Same here, I guess. Mokuba paused, then added hesitantly. So, now what? I don't know. I think you should first find out what your feelings really mean. Most teens go through similar things. Maybe it's only a phase. I don't want you to do something you'll regret later but his brother cut him off. I know what I want. I want you. He looked up at Seto with his defiance that disappeared as quickly as it came, and then, suddenly embarrassed, buried his face in his brother's t-shirt. I want you so bad it hurts. The young CEO patted his head lovingly and gave him a firm hug. Mokuba, can you tell me what made you so upset today? You seemed very glad when I told you I took a weekend off. I was, came the muffled reply. I really thought I was finally able to control my feelings and was looking forward to some quality time with my big brother, like in the old days, but then you came home wearing that! The older Kaiba was confused again. What do you mean? Well, look at yourself. Do you have any idea what those clothes do to my teenage hormones? For a long time, Seto had to wear suits to work because he had a lot of important meetings, but none today. So he decided to wear something lighter because of the weather. Comfortable and something that suited him better. A tight black turtleneck and a black pair of tight-fitting jeans. Oh, now he was starting to understand Mokuba's reaction. Did his brother think he looked hot? He had to admit, the thought was titillating. I don't know that word. That's a big word. Starts with tit. Titillating. I think that's how you say it. I don't know what that means. But he did not yet dare to do anything about such feelings. He carefully placed his hand on both sides of Mokuba's face and looked him in the eye. Mokuba, you know I love you. I want to give you everything I have and teach you everything I know, but I don't know what you really need. I don't want to rush things. I need whatever you are willing to give, but... Mokuba trailed off. Is it also what you want? Or are you only sacrificing... I can't fucking read! Or are you only sacrificing yourself for me, like you've done all your life? I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to think that you owe me something. Seto's eyes grew wide, and his hold on his brother's face turned slightly uncomfortable. How can you say that? I love you with all my heart. I'm not sacrificing a thing. Do you have any idea how beautiful you are? Really? You think I'm beautiful? Yes, you are and always have been the most beautiful person I ever knew. And you only keep improving when you grow. It was true. Mokuba was growing into a very good-looking young man. His raven hair was still very long, shiny and soft like silk. All his baby fat was gone, making room for muscles he got from all the sports he attends, and he was growing tall. Not yet as tall as his brother, but pretty tall for his age. And then his eyes. Seto loved the way his brother looked at him. It made him feel special and loved. And he was. Mokuba really loved him in every imaginable way. And he wanted so bad to make his little brother happy. He wanted them both to be happy. It had always been his goal to try to make up for all the pain and horror in their past by giving Mokuba the world. He leaned in and placed light kisses on the soft cheeks, kissing all the tears away. Then he moved on to his lips, very gently deepening the kiss, feeling a hot little tongue slide into his mouth. He pulled his brother closer. Mokuba couldn't stop a moan from escaping his lips. He had dreamed about this for so long, and now it was really happening. The smaller boy joined the kiss with such fervor, I think that's how you say it, that Seto was for a moment taken aback. He then regained his composure again and carefully broke the kiss. Mokuba, slow down a bit. I know you're eager, But if we are going to do this, I want it to be perfect. Saying that, he planted a soft kiss on his brother's forehead and moved to sit down against the headboard and beckoned Mokuba to join him. The smaller boy crawled over to him and nested in his brother's arms. Seto started to brush through the raven hair with his fingers, an old habit that had always managed to calm them both down. I gather you've never been with anyone before, right? Seto would probably run out and kill that person if his brother said that he has been, because obviously in Seto's mind, no one was good enough for his brother. No one could compare to you. No one even came close. So I just thought, why bother? Seto snickered. Maybe it's just that we're both picky. Only a Kaiba is good enough for a Kaiba, huh? That's one way to put it. Mokuba had long since gotten used to his brother's somewhat megalomaniac view of the world. It simply amused him nowadays. You said you fantasized about me. Can you then tell me some of your fantasies? Well, if you think you are ready to do it, you should be able to talk about it, pointed Seto out. Mokuba blushed crimson and averted his head. Guess you're right. I don't know how to start. Well, take your time. I won't be going anywhere. To put him at ease, Seto started to place soft kisses on his brother's neck, which made the younger boy shiver. Well, it did start like this. You would kiss me and say you loved me and that you wanted me. I do. I love you so much. Then you would start to kiss me all over my body, and I would pull you closer, going through your hair with my fingers and start kissing you back. Then you would take my shirt off and move lower. Lower. Mokuba's words were cut off by his brother's lips kissing passionately. Seto was more than a little turned on now. He pulled Mokuba into his lap and proceeded kissing him. The younger boy wrapped his arms around his brother, moaning at the sudden overwhelming contact. Seto pulled back a bit, breathing hard. He was so sure that he had overcome his feelings for his little brother long ago. At least that was what he was making himself believe all those years. And now the realization just hit him that he shared Mokuba's feelings completely. His brother's confession had triggered a chain reaction, and the kiss had broken the dam that was restraining his emotions. He felt himself harden and wasn't able to suppress a groan as Mokuba ground his hips against him. He started to kiss him all over his face once again, but this time more intensely, moving on to his neck. Seto slowly lowered Mokuba on his back, on the sheets. He laid him down gently and carefully took his shirt off. Seto paused to admire the sight below him. Mokuba looked up at him with a determined and challenging look. A voice in the back of Seto's head yelled, "It's your little brother! You're taking advantage of him! This is wrong!" But the voice of reason was soon replaced by those of need, love, desire, and his brother. Seto, is something wrong? The young CEO snapped out of it, smiled, and shook his head. Then he bent down and started to place feather-like kisses on his brother's chest. When he reached his nipples, Seto let his tongue trace little circles around the one, then the other, and rolled the twin nubs between his lips and fingers. When he oh so gently nibbled on one, Mokuba's eyes flew open and he yelped in surprise. "Are you all right?" Yes. Please do that again," uttered the teen. Seto rose up, smiled, and buried his face in raven curls, inhaling his brother's scent. He smelled of strawberry shower gel and everything fresh and pure. Seto wanted to worship his body forever, to erase every trace of tears from his skin and banish them from his life. But Mokuba wasn't that patient. He writhed under his brother's weight, trying to bring their bodies closer to each other. Seto noticed his brother's anticipation and sat up to pull his turtleneck off. The younger teen first couldn't decide what was better, Seto in a super sexy skin-tight turtleneck or Seto without it. When the said garment landed on the floor, the decision was made. Without the turtleneck, he was definitely better. Mokuba sat up too and reached out his hand. but an inch from his brother's chest he hesitated. Cough, cough. Satisfied that his brother was enjoying it as much as he himself was, Mokuba grew more bold and wrapped himself around Seto. He started to kiss and nibble at the skin between his brother's neck and shoulder, and flick his fingers over the nipples. The CEO shuddered and wrapped his arms around the younger boy, kissing him fiercely on the lips. He let them both fall down on the sheets once again, and rubbed his hand over Mokuba's groin. The teen let out a loud moan and bucked up into the touch. Seto slowly pulled the zipper down and sneaked his hand inside his brother's boxers, wrapping his fingers around the hard shaft. He set up a slow but firm pace, not giving in when Mokuba tried to force him to go faster. Then, when his brother came close to an orgasm, he suddenly released his grip. Seto! The name sounded as an accusation. Be a little bit more patient, Mokuba. I promise you won't regret it. He then leaned in and kissed the skin on Mokuba's stomach, while pulling his jeans and underwear all the way off. The CEO's hand lowered even more, and he engulfed his brother's member in his mouth. We're almost done. I just gotta power through this. We're almost done. The teen's head shot back, and his eyes closed in utter bliss. Seto did not often give head. Oh my god. Seto did not often give head. That's gonna go in the title. And in the thumbnail. But when Seto Kaiba did something, whether it was a business transaction, a card game, or sex, he made sure his performance was excellent. The younger boy entwined his fingers in the chestnut hair and let out a deep moan. Oh, Seto, this feels so good! I want to die! Encouraged by his brother's words, the CEO took him fully in and deep-throated him. Oh my god. It took only a few seconds until Mokuba came, screaming out his brother's name. Seto smiled and licked the cum from his lips. Right now, the taste seemed better than anything he had ever tasted. Haven't I told you it would be worth the wait? Oh, yes, you did, and it was. Thank you. I'm gonna take off my glasses. Maybe if I take them off, I won't be able to see, and I don't have to read this thing anymore. Oh, I'm about to cry. I'm so upset. They lay next to each other, silent for a moment, Mokuba still regaining his breath. Then he broke the silence. Seto. Yes, Moku-chan. Oh. Can I return the favor? Seto hesitated. He was definitely still very excited, but he was not sure if he could let his little brother do this. Are you sure this is what you want? He asked hesitantly. Yeah. Well, I've never done this before, so I don't think I'll be very good, but I really want to try. I wanted to for a while now. I've often thought about it. He blushed a little, embarrassed by his inexperience. Seto took his head in his hands and looked him deep in the eyes. Listen, Mokuba, everything you do is just perfect. You are perfect. I've never felt as good as tonight, because I've never loved someone as much as you. I love you. He paused for a moment. I'm just afraid that you're not ready for this, that's all. Nisama! I've been ready for the last year and probably my whole life. The brown-haired boy smiled and kissed his brother's forehead gently. Then you can go ahead. Just stop when I tell you to, okay? I don't want to come in your mouth. We're almost done. It's just a few more paragraphs, and then we'll be over. I don't have to read this anymore. Almost done. These few paragraphs are gonna feel like a few pages. Oh my god. And the CEO unbuttoned his jeans. I gotta put my glasses back on. And pulled them off, while Mokuba was already busy playing with his nipples. He may not be very experienced, but he was smart. And not as innocent as everyone thought. When you have to mature so fast, you tend to pick some things up. Besides, he had fantasized about this moment for so very long, so he didn't waste much time. Leaving a wet trace of kisses on Seto's chest and stomach, he slowly moved down. The first licks were very experimental, but Mokuba found the rhythm that provided his brother with so much pleasure surprisingly fast. And in no time the CEO was writhing under him, moaning and fisting the sheets. Moku, I'm so... Stop! Don't! But when he felt that Mokuba didn't have the slightest intention to let him go, in fact, he only increased his assault, the brown-haired boy gave up, and his protest turned into don't stop. Don't stop! Then, with a loud moan, he spilled his seed in his brother's willing mouth. He lay panting for a moment, the vision of his brother's red and puffy mouth with the traces of white around it sending powerful aftershocks through his body. I thought I asked you to stop. He tried to sound accusing, but sounded a bit groggy instead. Well, you told me to, but I don't think it was what you wanted. And I'm your brother, remember? I know what's good for you. Smart ass! Seto leaned over and smacked him on his behind. Mokuba yelped and wriggled away. Oh, kinky. I've always suspected the whole leather pants and metal accessories thing was more than just a fashion statement. Seto flushed crimson, completely mortified, and wondered not, for the first time, if his brother would be the death of him. It's fucking over, finally. Oh my god. That was more painful than the other one. You know, before I did that, I was going to read the Dragon Ball Super and My Little Pony crossover one. I was like, no, I don't do that. Let's go and read this one instead. That was a mistake. I just need to read the Dragon Ball Super My Little Pony one. I need to start reading this shit. Oh my god. This is going to scar me for life. I rate this fan fiction 0 out of 10. That was very not enjoyable, but I did get a good title out of it. Seto did not often give head. Alright, well, that's the end of this video. Bye.